The scream cut through the quiet evening like a sharp knife. Everyone in Ugwuta village froze. When the villagers gathered, they saw men struggling to open a coffin that had been buried under the tree. The coffin shook, and muffled cries came from inside. "Who buried someone alive?" Mama Nkechi, the village midwife, shouted, clutching her wrapper. The men pried the coffin open, and out came Ada, the widow everyone thought had gone missing a week ago. She was pale and gasping for air, her eyes wild as she looked around. Then she pointed straight at Obiora, a well-known man in the village. "It was him," Ada shouted, her voice trembling with anger. "He buried me alive." The crowd turned on Obiora instantly. People shouted at him, called him a monster, and some even tried to grab him. "I didn't do it," Obiora yelled, stepping back. "I would never do such a thing." But Ada wasn't done. "You buried me because I refused to marry you after my husband died," she said. The crowd gasped. Was it true? Could Obiora have done such a thing? Amaka, Obiora's younger sister, watched from the edge of the crowd. She felt confused and scared. Could her brother really have done this? He had always been a good man, or so she thought. That night she confronted him in their small hut. "Tell me the truth," she said, her voice shaking. "Did you do it?" Obiora sighed and sat down. "I didn't bury her, Amaka," he said. "But Ada knows something. I don't know what she's up to, but it's dangerous." Amaka frowned. If her brother didn't do it, why would Ada accuse him? Something didn't add up. The next few days were hard for Obiora. People in the village refused to talk to him. They believed Ada's story and saw him as a criminal. But Ada's life started changing. People treated her like a hero for surviving such a horrible thing. She was no longer the quiet widow. She became bold and confident, and she started spending a lot of time with Chika, a handsome young farmer in the village. This hurt Amaka deeply. She had loved Chike for years, though she never told him. Watching him laugh and talk with Ada made her heart ache. Amaka couldn't take it anymore. She decided to find out the truth about Ada. She began asking around, and soon she discovered something shocking. Ada's husband, Namdi, hadn't just died. He had been poisoned. One evening, Amaka found Ada sitting under the baobab tree. She walked up to her, her hands trembling. "You lied," Amaka said, her voice low but firm. "You lied about my brother, and you lied about your husband's death. You poisoned him, didn't you?" Ada didn't even flinch. She smiled, a cold, sharp smile. "You're smart, Amaka," she said, "but be careful. You don't want to get involved in things you don't understand." "I want the truth," Amaka snapped. Ada's smile faded, and her eyes narrowed. "Fine," she said. "I did it. Namdi deserved it. He treated me like dirt, and I wasn't going to let him ruin my life anymore." Amaka stared at her in shock. "And my brother? Why did you accuse him?" Ada leaned closer, her voice a whisper. "Because he's not innocent either. Do you think I don't know about the deal he made with Namdi before he died?" "What deal?" Amaka asked, her heart pounding. "Your brother owed Namdi money," Ada said. "A lot of money. They agreed that after Namdi died, I would marry Obiora so the debt would be forgiven. But when I said no, your brother decided to get rid of me." Amaka was stunned. Could her brother really be involved in something like this? That night, Amaka went back to her hut and demanded the truth from Obiora. "Tell me everything," she said. "Ada said you made a deal with her husband. Is it true?" Obiora lowered his head. "It's true," he admitted. "I owed Namdi a lot of money. He said the debt would be forgiven if I married Ada after he died. I agreed, but when Ada refused, I left her alone. I didn't bury her, Amaka. Someone else did." Amaka didn't know what to believe anymore, but the next morning she found a letter slipped under their door. It was from Chike. "I know the truth," the letter said. "Meet me under the baobab tree at sunset." When Amaka arrived at the baobab tree, Cheek was already there. His face was pale, and his hands shook as he spoke. "Ada buried herself," he said. Amaka's mouth fell open. "What? Why would she do that?" "She poisoned Namdi," Cheek explained. But people were starting to suspect her, so she came up with a plan to make herself look innocent. She buried herself and made it look like your brother tried to kill her. Then she accused him to distract everyone. Amaka couldn't believe what she was hearing. Ada had fooled everyone, including her. "What about you?" she asked Chaik, her voice trembling. "Why are you telling me this now?" Chaik looked down. "She wanted me to run away with her, but I couldn't. I couldn't keep lying." That night, Ada disappeared from the village. No one knew where she went, but the villagers finally began to see the truth. Obiora was no longer treated like a criminal, and life slowly returned to normal. Amaka felt a mix of relief and sadness. She had uncovered the truth, but she had also lost her chance with Chaika. Still, she held her head high, knowing she had done the right thing. The end.